University, Professor Mori especially, for organizing this very interesting, professionally interesting conference for all the international administrators. And today I'm going to talk about internationalization of domestic students, in which I basically focus on sending students abroad. Before going into the actual discussion about what I would like to share with you, I must touch upon some of the history of Keio University. Because when you say globalization or internationalization of universities, you have to think about why internationalize. And in case of Keio University, the university was founded in 1858 by Yukichi Fukuzawa, who was the visionary of modern Japan after a long shogun government in which Japan was totally closed from the outside world. So from the beginning, our founder Yukichi Fukuzawa tried to instill the spirit of jitsugaku, which is practical learning, and that idea was basically, in principle, gained through his 3 overseas trips, which were very, very unusual at the time. But he somehow gained 3 opportunities to go to Europe, including Russia. And I think historical facts show he had even ventured out to Egypt. And also he had an opportunity to go to the United States on governmental missions. So from the beginning, our founder emphasized importance of freedom, quality, and lifelong learning. So internationalization of Keio University is from the beginning the core mission of our university. And through over 150 years of history, we established as a leader in society, and also based on Fukuzawa's philosophy, we continue to be a provider of leadership for the future. So although we have a very strong research-oriented activities, for us, educating future leaders are very important. So Keio University is located basically in metropolitan Tokyo area. And the Mita campus is very close to Tokyo Tower, so it's central heart of Tokyo. But other campuses, although they are in greater part of Tokyo, but located in Yokohama area and the Shonan Visitor campus. And the Shinanomachi campus is our teaching hospital medical school, and it's located in Shinjuku. And the Shiba Kyoritsu campus is newly merged formerly independent school of pharmacy. So we have quite a stretched campuses. And as a comprehensive university, we have 10 faculties, that means academic departments, and 14 graduate schools. And some of the bottom ones are the newly established graduate schools. So as I emphasize, educating future leaders is a very important mission of Keio University. And as we have been in the sector for 150 years, and we have produced many distinguished alumni, including 3 former prime ministers of Japan, and 2 astronauts, and one of them women, and quite a few major company CEOs, and distinguished overseas figures that were graduates, such as immediate past governor of the Bank of Thailand. And there are many universities rankings, but one of the international rankings done by French Grande École, focusing on management studies, Keio was ranked 11th in ranking because of our graduates' success in the industry. And one of our strengths is our Mitakai, which is a name in Japanese of our alumni organizations. And we have more than 800 domestic alumni associations and also 60 overseas associations, which is rather unusual for Japanese universities. They are very active in some big cities like New York or London. So this is a very, very brief overview of Keio University International Dimension. Overall, we have just over 1,000, nearly 200 international students. And same with other Japanese universities. Most of them come from Korea, China, Taiwan, USA, France. And we have just over 220 around 230 study abroad students and nearly 200 visiting researchers throughout the year, and many faculties go overseas. And we have, yes, and I have to also give you the number, the total number of Keio University students is about 30,000. So in comparison to big universities like Todai and other former national universities, we are relatively small. And international partnerships, we are, as you can see, strong with Europe, and we have traditionally many partnerships with North America, and recently number of Asian partners are increasing. And Keio has a selective membership for international corporations such as Apple, Associated Pacific Rim Universities. Time is leading, in principle, European engineering school consortium, and recently joined the SEM, which is the leading European management school consortium. Okay, so far I have talked the overview of Keio University's internationalization, and I think from previous slides, I think Keio looks like being very internationalized. But recently, as I work for both global initiatives and student affairs international programs, we are now facing new challenges, and that is inward-looking domestic students. In, I think, last half year or so, mass media, Japanese newspapers are focusing on this topic because they are based on these factors. Current undergraduate students, especially, all born at the end of Japan's so-called bubble economy. So they never seen really affluent Japanese society. So they have grown up by looking at their parents working hard but not getting the daily life is becoming less affluent every year. And they are the first, I would like to call it the Pokemon generation. They are the ones who have had mobile device for their own from quite early age. And for them, internet is just there at home. So they are quite happy at home in Japan with the internet. So they don't think it's necessary to go out and have a adventurous life. So you ask your students, why don't you go abroad? And say, oh, I can see everything on Facebook, and that kind of reaction is quite normative. And there are few, not so many, some wealthy students. They have lived a life in which overseas experiences are abundant. For example, every winter holiday, the whole family goes to Hawaii or South Island, that kind of things. And although the Hawaii and Guam, that tourist spot is made for Japanese tourists, but for the student, they feel they have enough international experience, so they don't think it's necessary to go abroad, that kind of things. And another big factor is in Japanese employment system. They have to start job hunting maybe in the beginning of third year. So So that is because many Japanese companies employ new graduate immediately after undergraduate graduation as the same cohort. So if you are not graduating with the same group of people, you will miss a lot in getting a very good job. And another factor we are concerned is the challenges for some Japanese students because Japanese economy has been staggering for quite a long time. Our students, because we are private university, they are paying tuitions, but that's just enough for their family to afford. So they think overseas study abroad is just too much luxury, so they just don't think about going abroad. So for them, it's impossible. So if I kind of look at the internationalization of domestic Japanese students from different angles, I think there are two factors influencing. One is external pressure. Although the Japanese corporations in general would like to hire new graduates as the same cohort at the same time, many global companies are increasingly seeking globally competitive students. That means our students have to work with anyone from China or Korea or United States or Europe with very good language skills. And that is quite a challenge for some students. And also the recent, I think media is paying attention to the fact that Japanese students not going abroad is that United States have been the typical destination for Japanese students to study abroad. And that number has significantly dropped. And that was shown in some of the IIE and that kind of statistics. And that made, I think, United States worried quite a lot. And because Japan and the United States have a very close political and that kind of relationship, that have been heavily discussed in media. And that kind of led to the argument that Japanese students are not going to study abroad anymore. An internal concern is we have about 200 exchange programs. And because Europe is very active with Erasmus programs and Erasmus Mundus now coming out of Europe, they want to send many, many exchange students. And with exchange students, we have to counter the number of students to send abroad. But that is becoming quite difficult. So we are beginning to worry that, yes, we may not be able to keep on with international exchange programs. And also, we have many international students on campus, but they traditionally took Japanese language program. So that means they are not integrated with the Japanese students. So that opportunities have been missed. So that's another concern we have. And the final concern, or we have just realized, is we have not been reaching out to our Japanese students about international programs and study abroad opportunities. So, so in last couple of years, we have taken a couple of measures for Japanese students. One is annual study abroad fair for entry-level campus. Many students that reaches Keio University have had a vigorous entrance examination preparation before reaching to university. So they have been focusing on university entrance examinations. That doesn't necessarily mean they can speak English or they have had TOEFL examination or IELTS preparation. So we have to let the student know in order to do a study abroad, maybe in the very immediately after entering university, you have to take TOEFL or IELTS and that kind of languages examination to be able to apply for our exchange programs. And also, we have developed a few summer, spring, short programs. And also, we discovered some of them, after participating in the short program, they will be comfortable and confident, and they will then apply for the year-long study abroad program. So, so summer programs, short programs are very good trials for some of our less courageous students. And some academic department, especially with graduate program, they have some double degree programs with selected partner universities. That will give more incentive for graduate students because they can get double degrees after completing the program. And we even started fee waiver for privately funded study abroad students. Exchange program, they pay the tuition to Keio University, so they can go to a partner institution free of charge. But privately funded study abroad students, we just ask them to pay the full tuition fee to keep the place. But we have changed that measure. And also, we have changed, I think some other universities said they are now building centralized office. In our case, we decentralized office because in order to totally, as a university, to get internationalized, we must have international students go to different offices. So we have put international students to go to different places rather than coming to the international center office. And we are also introducing a new residential dormitory in which domestic and international students can live together. So what's next? I think as an administrator of international office, I think we must be more proactive to encourage students to go abroad. And as I mentioned a little bit, diversify and increase Hamas programs so that they can have more trials. And we have quite a few English taught programs, over 100, but they are just there. So I think we have to have more curriculum orchestrated so that it would be more attractive to our Japanese students. And also we have to review scholarships to give more incentive to students, to students with academic excellence, but who do not apply for study abroad. And also, it's a long-term project, but we have to maybe seek collaboration with industry to change the Japanese strict new graduate employment system. I think time is up. I just wanted to show the list of double degree courses, and I just wanted to do a little bit about we are doing Global 30, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.